Hello again, everybody. This is Craig Evans of Autism Hangout, and thank you for tuning in to another Beyond the Headlines, where, as you know, I'm out in the world trying to find the people and the businesses that are making a positive impact on the lives of our kids with autism. And today is absolutely no exception. In fact, I'm talking to an art therapist that has recently written a book. She is also the founder of the Sky's the Limit Studio. Don't you have to love a name like that? Which provides creative arts therapy services tailored to the needs of individuals with ASD. The book is called Art as an Early Intervention Tool for Children with Autism. Autism Hangout, I would like to have you meet Nicole Martin. Nicole, welcome to Autism Hangout.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Well, this is a delight. And usually the way we start these things is people always have an interest in how did you first get exposed to autism? And if you wouldn't mind giving us the brief story, we'll follow that up with a discussion about your book.
Sure. Well, I first became interested in autism at about the exact same time that I got into art. This was back in my childhood. I have a brother with autism, and so I was about 12 and he was about 3 at the time of his diagnosis, and I was also starting to take art lessons at that same time. And so for me, they just can't be divided. They, in my own development, are intertwined in a way that's been wonderful for me. So as I've been studying art, I've worked with my brother and then worked with other kids, and they're for me just undeniably woven together, and that's how my interest started. But as far as my interest in early intervention, there are 3 real reasons why I wanted to target that with my book. One, it's obviously the most important and productive time to intervene with these kids on the spectrum. Secondly, there just weren't any resources in the field for this particular age range. And third, because these kids are understandably so busy when they're at preschool age working on communication and behavioral goals, arts activities are sidelined, or if they are worked on, they're not necessarily properly adaptive, so self-stimulatory and perseverative ways of using the materials will persist, and it's basically a missed opportunity to work on developing good habits with the art materials and creativity and flexibility skills, and the beginnings of self-expression for these kids.
Well, the fact that you got started at the age of 11 working with a 3-year-old like your brother, what were some of the things you learned right away about working with a child with autism that you have very quickly adapted successfully to your methodology for teaching and reaching kids?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind quickly is that just presenting the kids with the art materials is not enough. It's not going to work. You've got to integrate some kind of behavioral skills and behavioral finesse with these kids to do art or music or any creative activity with them. It just doesn't fly, because understandably they're going to use the materials in the way that feels natural to them, which is not necessarily age appropriate or productive. They can get off track. They can get overwhelmed in a sensory way, and so you really have to hone it down, break it down for them, make the environment conducive to their learning, and not overwhelm them.
Our kids are so different. The statement is, if you've met one kid with autism, you've met one kid with autism. Is it difficult to tailor to people at different places on the spectrum?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. I think that's just how it is with these kids. Every single kid, it's tailored differently, so that I don't even really think about it. It's just how it is. And in a good art therapy session, there's really, there's 3 things that you're tailoring. One is your relationship with the kid, like any therapist would do. How you interact with them, how you make them comfortable, and how you organize the space for them. Then there's just the traditional tools that I mentioned earlier in special education and behavioral theory that everyone's using that plays in there. But the thing that's different is adapting the art. So all 3 of those things, if you juggle it together, you'll find the right mix for that kid.
Let's talk about the it's definitely worth it part. Can you talk a little bit about some of the successes that you've had? Some of your favorite students, or some of the remarkable things that have happened?
Sure. I've had a lot of good success helping kids move from drawing in a very disorganized, perseverative, scribbly way into drawing at an age-appropriate level. I see that happen a lot. And it's really just about knowing the kids and tailoring everything from the materials to the space to the demands to their needs. And with a little patience, it definitely will happen. I also see a lot of good improvements in flexibility and reciprocity and collaboration skills in art therapy socialization groups that I design. So for kids that really need to work on their social skills, but they're highly motivated by art, I can use that interest to draw them out and to work with their peers. And then also, I'd say reducing anxiety. Anything from fear of dogs or peer issues at school, whatever it is, if you break it down and make it visual for the kids, it goes a long way.
Excellent. So it's not just it's a device that definitely can bring the kids out. The name of the book again is Art as an Early Intervention Tool for Children with Autism. Now, who is this for? Is this for parents? Is this for teachers? Who is this for?
It's mostly for non-artists and non-art therapists. So teachers, special ed and regular teachers, parents, speech paths, OTs, anyone in the field who is already doing art with these kids, just to help them out.
Okay.
If you're already an art therapist, it would be helpful to work on your early intervention skills, because again, there isn't a lot written on that particular age, but it's really for people who are busy, who believe in using art with these kids, but they don't have a whole lot of time. So I intentionally wrote the book short, concise, to the point, good pictures, and very clear, so that you can pick this up, and if you really had the whole evening, you could finish it in an evening, or maybe you could take it one chapter at a time over the course of a week. Okay, Nicole, give us a web address where people can go to find more information about the book. You can go to my website, which is arttherapyandautism.com, and there'll be links to get the book, but then there's also a whole lot of other resources on art therapy, art education, anything that I found on the topic I've posted on there. So it's a great resource overall for anything to do with art and autism. And then you can also go to the publisher's website, which is jessicakingsley@jkp.com.
That's excellent. Nicole, thank you so much for what you do for our special kids.
You're very welcome. It's always my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's our pleasure too. And thank you, Autism Hangout audience. I'll be back again soon with another Beyond the Headlines.